Hello, welcome to West Enemy Sims. My name is Calvin, and how are you doing? We are back with Around the World with the Sims 2 speed build. This time going all the way to Philippines, building a Filipino Bahay Na Bato. Now, I have done a lot of speed builds around the world. I have the playlist down in the description below. Now, before I explain this build, let us have a quick update on West Enemy Sims. Currently, as of time of recording, we have now 591 subscribers. Thank you so much for joining this retro simming movement. I really love you guys so much. I thank from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for supporting, watching my videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do check it out my channel and subscribe to get more updates on retro sims gaming. Now back to the speed build. Now Bahay Na Bato in Filipino literally means house of stone. So it's basically it. The ground level of this house will be built on with stone or brick materials, and the top floor will be built made out of wooden materials. So traditionally, it is in Filipino architecture, stone and brick wasn't a traditional building material until the Spanish colonization happened in the history. If you look through the history of Philippines, there are a lot of influence of the architecture styles, mainly from Spanish and European origins, and also Chinese for the Eastern style, and also the local architecture as well. So it is a good mix of East and West architectural styles in the Philippines. So yeah, this is an interesting build to make it look right, and I'm really excited to build. As you can see here, I have an idea of having the top floor being connected with stairs, with a L-shaped stairs surrounding the outer part of the house. From the early parts of the build, I have encountered some major challenges in terms of roofing. So initially, I wanted to have a mainly hip roof building, and then with a gabled roof detail, but it doesn't look really right at all. So I ditched the gabled roof. The gabled roof altogether, and the having tile roof textures. Now, some of the houses in Philippines, they usually have thatched roof, more traditional look. So it all depends on the region where in Philippines, and the different styles of Bahay Na Bato really take shape. So it does vary in style depending where in Philippines you look at. And the second challenge is to put a really nice wooden texture on the second floor. We shall see here the wallpaper texture will change over and over again over time. And I noticed the sides of the window are actually made out of screens, and unfortunately there's nothing like that in The Sims 2. So I have to fake the style of the window to make it look correct. Great. The most interesting part of this house is the ground level is not where most of the rooms are. Traditionally, the ground level is usually made for storage, in some cases even garages. If any bedrooms, it will be only for the house servants. So I made a decision to convert one part of the downstairs will be a kitchen, so Sims can cook and prepare meals downstairs and eat upstairs, although I don't think it might work in the game, but we shall see. And also some places as study and a hobby room downstairs. And upstairs will be that open concept living room with a dining room area and 2 bedrooms. And you also notice I did a column arch at downstairs. I cut off a section of the ground level because I still think it's a little bit too big for a kitchen and some empty space. There's too much empty space in the ground level. But eventually I have to scrap the column arches. That's too bad because I really like the column arches style look. It gives a little more European influence in this build. So I made some really rustic looking columns instead. And the top floor, we have some top floor, it matches on the top floor, the walls and floors made match to the outside of the house. Mainly wood floorings and some really plain looking panels. Eventually, I really changed a lot of the wallpapers because it doesn't really work out that well and the woods don't really match. That's the most frustrating thing about The Sims 2, that the colors don't necessarily match what you really want. And for the ground level, I usually just made it more plain with stone flooring and stone brick tiles all over across ground level. So as I was researching about Bahay Na Bato architectural styles other from Google search, I came across one Sims YouTuber. His username is XFeazerbunnyX. You can check it out in his channel. He builds really nice Sims 4 builds. Especially he did ones in Filipino style houses. That is really superb with all the details. He actually explains the architectural styles and the history and the way it was designed much more better than I would. So yeah, do check it out. And he's also an architectural student, so he knows how a good sound build looks like, and really you should check it out. And I am amazed by his level of detail and the amount of dedication he put into Sims 4 builds. So as for myself, I'm not Filipino, I'm Filipino, but I do notice there is some similarities in Malaysian and Filipino architectural styles, some of the build. I also initially thought of building Bahay Kubo, a more traditional Filipino house. I do, from the looks of it, from the pictures I've seen, they really do resemble quite a bit on Malaysian traditional houses as well. So I decided to build Bahay Na Bato instead, so to make it a little bit more distinct from Malaysian build. And yeah, we don't really have a lot of similarities culture-wise, but I do know if you're from East Malaysia, like Sabah, especially Sabah, there are some tribes that are really heavily influenced by Filipino cultures, and some of Filipino immigrants also live in some coastal areas of Sabah. So we do have some mix of local culture and Filipino culture assimilated, and some similarities in terms of language. Filipino, in some words that actually sound very similar to Malay, but most of the time Filipino Tagalog in usually heavily influenced by Spanish. So if you know quite a fair bit of Spanish, you sort of understand quite a bit as well. So in terms of furnishing, as you may have noticed, Sims 2 really doesn't have anything Filipino related, so I have to heavily rely on other similar styles of Asian furnishings and also decorations, mainly the Chinese and Japanese ones. for the more Asian look, and also lean into the bamboo screens to separate the open rooms. And also I have used a fair bit of colonial traditional style, so it does have a mix of East and West architecture and furnishing. It sort of reminds me of the Malaysian shophouses I did way back in one of the first few speed builds, to use both East and West traditional furnishings to furnish the house. So yeah, I do think the mix of cultures really give a more unique look of how the traditional houses look in some cases. So yeah, the influences are definitely give a sort of a unique identity to it. I kind of appreciate that. Yes, colonization isn't at rosy, and a lot of bad things do happen in the course of history. And over the years, local cultures kind of influenced by other cultures, and people take in some practices that are practiced by other people, so it gives a sense of unique personality to it. And including this speed build, I have officially made builds from 16 different countries. Wow, that's quite a long journey. I think I started since last year, and I really appreciate how a lot of different architectural styles all over the world, and how different and diverse different builds are. And The Sims 2 actually can prove that it can handle a lot of different style of architecture. And yeah, although it is not fully representative of what the actual buildings look like, but it does emulate the style pretty well, I must say. And if you haven't seen the architectural style that I haven't even built yet, please, you can come suggest under my comments which building style you want to see in my Sims 2 around the world speed builds, and provide me some ideas and some references so I can check it out, and maybe I can take it up as a challenge to build them. And so far I have a few ideas left in this series, so really need your help to continue this series. If you really want more different styles of building around the world, check it out. And yeah, and other speed builds also in store, so I have roughly about 10 ideas in my checklist, so I'm pretty excited to do them slowly, one by one, about every 2 weeks or so. This week is an exception because I have nothing much of ideas of other videos. And yeah, the custom content review is coming to a close, and we only have the rating Sims 2 Worlds series going on. So yeah, if you have any idea what other videos you want to see in this channel, not necessarily from the Sims 2, it can be also from the Sims 1 and 3. Do give me a shout out under the comments and suggest anything you want to see in this channel. Hopefully I want to grow the channel a little bit more diverse, because I feel so sad when I post up anything other than the Sims 2, which is like the videos or some Sims 3 videos, it doesn't do very well. But so I feel like these two games also deserve some love. So do support and check out videos other than the Sims 2, the Sims 2 content creator. So I have more than that. I do love all 3 Sims games, well, except for Sims 4. If you have not noticed, this is a retro Sims channel, So anything from The Sims 1 all the way to The Sims 3, I definitely cover all of them. So it is already the month of February. How time really flies. How is everything in 2023? Well, things really just kickstart when people started coming back from the holidays, and yeah, nothing eventful in Valentine's Day other than the usual uploading and usual work it's done for me. But I hope it is much more eventful for you. And in the world of The Sims 4, well, as we have known, if you follow up The Sims 4 news, there is a new expansion pack coming up. It's called Growing Together. It's sort of like a Sims 3 Generations kind of an expansion pack, and I watched the trailer, and it really reminds me of Sims 3 Generations, but they seem to look like they're taking off boxes. That feature is still absent from The Sims 4, and they shove it in this expansion pack. I don't have a lot of expectations in this expansion pack, so if you guys are excited about it, that's all good. And not too keen on doing it or try it out for myself because I have been away from The Sims 4 playing The Sims 4 for quite some time already. I think it's over a year. I haven't even touched anything on Sims 4 since I uninstalled it. So yeah, I am pretty content. I have problems, people complaining about bugs and glitches in new packs. So yeah, I totally pretty cautiously optimistic about this new expansion pack. And also they just included infants in the game as a way to free the babies. Yes, if you play The Sims 4, babies are like The Sims 1. They are literally objects. They are stuck in the nets. So in a way, they are freeing up babies like we already have in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 already. I think if you want a more fulfilling gameplay, I suggest just play. I don't know why we have to wait 9 years to get a proper family gameplay in The Sims 4, and it's already 9 years. I don't feel pretty excited about The Sims 4 anymore. I'm not so sure about you guys who played The Sims 4 for 9 years, and it is pretty shallow and empty. Even though they add in more things, it is still pretty glitchy as hell the last time I played it. So yeah, count me out as a fan of The Sims 4. And in other news, The Sims 5 or Project Renee is still far years away from development, and nothing much has been said in the Project Renee. And in the other news, other gaming news, I saw Viva Land has some new demo coming up. I'm not particularly excited about it, but Paralyzed is the one that I'm looking for, and it is really good. And I saw it, the demos and the new clips they show. They really step up the game, and they really make sure that this game will be as good, as solid as it is, even though it takes years for people to wait for the game to be released. So that's pretty much it for simulation game genres that I take notice. I don't really keep up gaming news anymore, especially only The Sims. Even so, The Sims also I don't really keep up with it. But Paralyzed, yes, definitely something to look forward to. But how about you? What are you excited about this year in The Sims or any other games, you can share them under the comments. In terms of landscaping, I keep it a little bit more simple. I have a lot of wide open spaces which are surrounded by the bamboo fencing, and also I have huge bay trees to give a little bit more shade, and yes, a lot of palm trees. As you may have noticed, Filipino is a really tropical country, so coconut palm trees are very common. I layer it with some tropical flower bushes, which is the hibiscus, and some shorter palm trees to give a little bit more depth. And in the front, I give some little bit of a flower bed to mix in with a more westernized garden influence, with lined with bamboo low fence to give a little bit more unique look. And also I put a hammock at the back and also a swing set. Although this swing set is not included in game itself, I think it is a pre-order download from The Sims 2 Seasons. I feel this type of swing set is much more suitable for this build rather than the regular one. The regular one looks pretty plastic, so it doesn't look really right. But if you don't have that swing set, it will be automatically converted to a one swing set in the base game, but that's okay. But I do provide the link down in the description below where to find that swing set, so you can have that swing set in the game as well once you download this lot. Okay, that's pretty much all the time I have, and we're reaching the end of my speed build. What do you think? Please leave me a comment. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to West Anime Sims for more updates on retro Sims content. As per usual, the screenshots of this Bahay Na Bato will be uploaded in my socials, Instagram and Tumblr. Please do give these two platforms a follow to get more updates on retro Sims content. And also the link to download it will be up down in the description below after I do some editing off camera. And anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye!